Alright guys, so in this video we'll talk about how we can convert units back and forth. So this topic, conversion of unit, is a very interesting one, and it's important to know how they are done. That is because in physics, also in chemistry, and of course in mathematics, you may be asked sometimes to convert from, let's say, centimeters to meter, or not, let's say, meter to centimeter, or meter to kilometer, whichever way it is. All right, so there are rules, there are protocols which you have to follow, and it's very easy. It is so facile. It's not difficult at all. Now let's talk about the first step. Number one, let's look at how we can convert millimeter to meter. And as a matter of fact, you have to be familiar with the terms. For example, mm, that's millimeter, and m, that is meter. So we have cm, that one is centimeters. Then we have km, that one is kilometers. And these are the main ones you have to be aware of. Now, for you to convert millimeter to meter, you have to divide the value in millimeter by 1000. So you divide what you have in millimeter by 1000. So you divide by 1000. Simple as that. So let's say we want to convert 400, for instance now, 400 millimeter to meter. All we have to do is to divide 400 over 1000, and 400 over 1000 is easy. So if you do that, you have 400 divided by 1000. That will give you 0.4. 0.4 what? 0.4 meter. So it means we've successfully, gone from millimeter to meter. So we transited to meter by simply dividing by 1000. But if you don't want to use the calculator, there are other ways you can do it, other smarter ways without a calculator. So let's say you want to divide 400 over 1000. Simple as this. You count the number of zeros you have in 1000. So here we have 3 zeros. Let me use a red pen. So here we have 3 zeros. Now, you have to move your decimal in your numerator 3 places backward. So, how do you know where your decimal is? If you have a value like this, automatically your decimal is in front of the first number. So you have to move it 3 places backward because we have 3 zeros here. So if we do that, we have 1, 2, and then 3. And 3 here means you now have it here. You see that now? So we have it here. The point will come right in front of that 0. So you have 0.4. So you would discard those 2 zeros. So what you have, you will have a 0.4. That is how it is done. So let me walk you through more examples, then you'll get used to it even more. The second word, to convert from meter back to millimeter, we have to simply do the opposite. And what's the opposite? The opposite of division is, of course, multiplication. In this case, we have to multiply, sorry about that, no. Multiply our value in meter by 1000. So let's say we want to convert 300. Okay, let me use the first example. Here we got 0.4 meter. Let's convert the 0.4 meter back to millimeter. So we're going to have 0.4 meter to millimeter. That's easy now. So we're going to take the 0.4 and multiply it by 1000. If you do that, 0.4 times 1000, that will give you 400. 400 what? 400 millimeter. Now you can see that we came back to where we're coming from, which was this 400 we got here initially. You can see that now. It's the exact opposite. So as always, like I told you, if you don't want to use your calculator, you can simply move your decimal forward. Okay, for division, you're moving backward. Then multiplication, you're moving forward. So for multiplication, we're going to move this decimal. Let me use the right pen as always now. So this decimal you see here, we'll move it forward. So let's bring out 0.4 here. So 0, just a moment please. 0.4 here So here, if you realize, we have three zeros. And to do that, we're going to move this decimal 3 places forward. So if we do that, we'll have 1, see that now? Then if we have one more, that is 1 0, then we have one more, that is 2 zeros. So how many zeros? How many places forward? We'll move 3 places forward. So it began from here, so it moved on to 1, 2, then 3. So this gives you 400, like we did there. So that is it for that one. So you can of course do more practices yourself. So the third one, number 3 right now, let's see how we can convert from centimeters to meters. How do we do this? We'll have to divide the value in centimeter by 1000. The value in centimeter will divide it by 1000, by 100, I beg your pardon, not 1000. So if we do that, let's say we want to convert from, let me pick a random number right now. Let's say I want to convert 515 centimeter to meter. All I need to do is to take this value, this 515 right now, and divide it by 1000. So when I do that, as always, well, you don't need the calculator to do this. You can just do exactly what I did. But if you want to use a calculator, 515 divided by 1000 will give you 0.515. Though you don't need a calculator, it's a very easy mathematics. So you count your number of zeros here. Here we have 3 zeros. You see that now? So we're going to move the decimal backward since we're dividing. Like I told you, all right? And since it is division, we're moving backward. And where is the decimal exactly? I told you before in the first question that an imaginary decimal is right in front of the first number, like you can see here. So moving backward, we're going to have 1, then 2, then 3. If we move 3 places backward, then a 0 will be created here, then a point will be there. So that is how we got 0 point. Let me use a white pen. Yes, that was how we got 0.515 meter. So that is it for that one. Now the fourth one right now. Number 4, let's see how we can go from meter to centimeter. Now, meter to centimeter, we're going to do the exact opposite like we did before. So from meter to centimeter, we have to multiply the value in meter by 100. So we're basically doing the exact opposite. Now let's convert this 0.515 meter back to centimeter. So we're taking this value right now, which is 0.515. I want to multiply it by 1000. Like I told you before, if you're multiplying, you're moving your decimal forward, and division is backward. So because we're multiplying, we're going to move it forward, and we'll move it forward based on the number of zeros here. So in this case, we don't have an imaginary zero. It's an imaginary decimal. We already have a decimal place here. Now we'll move this decimal, you can see, 3 places forward because we have, oh, sorry about that, not 3 places forward right now, but 2, this is 100. Move it 2 places forward because we have 2 zeros here. You see that now? So this will be 1, 2, and then 3. So it comes right in front of the first number. So this will be written as 515. Then the decimal you see here is what we can put here, but we don't have to put the decimal again because we already got the value we're looking for. So it comes right in front of the first number. Alright, that is it for that one right now. So really quick, I've done 4 so far. Number 5, I want to do at least 6. The 5th one right now, let's see how we can convert from millimeter from millimeter to centimeter. How can we do that? We have to divide the value in millimeter by 10. So we're dividing our value in millimeter by 10. So let's say we want to convert 500. Okay, let me use something more confusing. 425 millimeter to centimeter. How do we do that really quick? It's not hard at all. We simply have to grab that value, which is 425, then divide it by 10, of course, by 10. So how can we divide that by 10? Well, for the calculator friends, if you do that division, you get 425 by 10. That gives you 42.5. But I don't like using calculator for this easy stuff. I just use what I told you before. So since we have a 10 here, we simply have to move our decimals backward because we're dividing. And our decimal is here, our imaginary decimal is here. That moving it backward once, because we have only 1 0 here, that gives us 42.5 words. It's good you always add the, what's it called now? The unit, 42.5 centimeter. Now, for the sixth one, we have number 6 here. Let's see how we can go from centimeter back to millimeter. As always, we're doing the exact opposite. So in this case, we have to multiply the value, multiply the value in centimeter by 1000, by 10. Sorry, I don't know why I always say 1000. By 10. In this case, let's convert this value, this 42.5, back to millimeter. So we simply have to take that value, 42.5 to millimeter. We have to multiply it by 10, which is 42.5 times 10. So no need for a calculator again. So we have to move the decimal forward because we are multiplying. In this case, we have only 1 0, so it means we're moving only one place forward. That will be this point. This decimal comes from here and it goes to here. So if you do that, you have the decimal here. In this case, you don't have to add a 0 again. You simply have to write 425 millimeter. That is it for that. Alright, that is simply it. Well, we still have others. We have going from millimeter to kilometer and from kilometer to meter. I think let me just touch that a bit. I didn't want to make this video too long, but in this case, I think I have to make it because the other parts of kilometer is also very important. So let me just do the next one, 7, and then I'll stop at 8. Now, let's see how we can go from millimeter to kilometer. It's pretty easy as well. So in this case, we have to divide our value in meter by 1000. So because kilometer, you see, is way larger than, meter. So we divide the value in meter by 1000 by 1000. So let's say we want to convert, here's a random figure right now. Let's say I want to convert 5200 meter to kilometer. What do I do exactly? Simply have to take that value, which is 5200, then divide by 1000. So as always, I don't need a calculator as well, so I simply have to use the exact thing I did before. So here I have 3 zeros, so I'll move the 3 places backward. So our imaginary decimal is here as always. Move it 1, see that now? 2, then 3. See that now? You stop there, so don't move beyond that. So here the decimal is now between 5 and 2. So by so doing, I will have 5.2 kilometer. That is my answer. Now the last one, I want to convert kilometer to meter. Now you do this yourself. I've explained to you, taking time to do it an extensive exegesis for you. And your job right now is to help me convert 52, not 52 rather, but 5.2 kilometer to meter, and also help me convert 920 kilometer to meter. So this is a mini classwork for you. If you come across this video, make sure you do this yourself and comment with your answer in the comment section. I'll be there to look at your answers. All right, guys, that is it for this particular video. I believe you enjoyed it, and I believe you learned something today, of course, which I believe. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so you can see more of our videos. I make videos on mathematics, chemistry, physics, and biology, the four main science subjects. And also, I create videos almost every day apart from the weekend, from Mondays to Fridays, 5 days in a week, as though you're going to school. All right, apart from weekends rather, which are for resting. So if you're new, subscribe so you can see all of our videos every day in the weekday. And also like the video, leave a comment below, and share with your friend who will find it helpful as well. Alright, bye for now, and that is it. And one more thing really quick. This is just a part 1 of this conversion video. I will make a part 2, where I will talk about things like centimeter square, meter square. That one is more challenging. So please do not miss the part 2. Alright, so if you come across the part 1 right now, the part 2 is coming right away, which is tomorrow. Alright, that is it for now. Bye for now, and see you on the next one.